Well, good flipping morning to everybody. Ladies, gentlemen, two and ears. It's raining in South Florida. It's going to be raining for a while. Join me to talk about the Dolphins. And I can't tell you how we're going to win this week. And you'll find out why coming up next.
Turner Yell makes the stop in the secondary for Denver. 1st and 10. The fake. Good. Block in there, and down it goes. Caught at the 30. This is the dynamic Hill. He's in for six. Tyreek Hill. Touchdown. What a block.
Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour, take a cold shower, scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder, and f*** all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off, it's these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it.
Yeah, there's I can't I would say that Skylar's more day to day, so that's a little but at the same time Chris is steadily at work, and that's important to have depth of that position, which we're finding out the absolute most difficult way.
Once again, good morning, everybody. How y'all doing this morning? It is your favorite, and everybody knows favorite, TFTG host, color commentary, to bring you another cup of color with your coffee this morning. It is a beautiful morning, despite the rain. It is currently 86 degrees and raining in Palm Beach County, and the entire peninsula and actually, I would say the entire state of Florida is currently under a tropical storm warning. So everybody be careful out there. If you're not a Floridian or you're new to Florida and you don't know what a tropical storm warning means, a tropical storm warning means tropical storm force winds are expected somewhere within the area within the next 36 hours. So put some protection on your windows, slight protection. Make sure you're not outside. Gather your plants in, because even tropical storm force winds can start making things fly. Plus, as this hurricane rolls up into the Gulf and makes its aim towards somewhere looking like a little north of Tampa, we'll see. The whole eastern side of the storm is going to drag up into the peninsula of South Florida with potentially tropical storm force winds. So what you need to be mindful of is on that side of the storm, generally, you need to be paying attention to the skies, because there can be a lot of tornadoes, even in a tropical storm. So keep that in mind. Keep your eyes on the skies. Heed the warnings. Don't sit in front of your TV with all the lightning. Fire up your phone or your tablet. Fire up YouTube. Pour a cup of coffee and sit down with yours truly. And we're going to talk about this absolute debacle that we have going on in Miami. So I had a whole entire show planned last night. Stayed up pretty late. It's kind of why I'm a little behind schedule this morning. I'm supposed to start this show at 10 o'clock. I'm pretty sure most of y'all know that. I know the first ones in chat, you probably know that, like Hooked Up Joe, Dr. Dragon. These guys know it. Joe Levesque, Banana. They all know I'm supposed to start at 10, but I was up pretty late last night gathering all kinds, because there's a lot of talk going on. A lot of information came out yesterday. Conflicting information, as always. And I had it all gathered up, ready to tell you what I think's going on, what we could expect, and what we can expect for Sunday or for Monday night. That's right. We have the Tennessee Titans coming into Monday night to Hard Rock Stadium. The last time we faced them was in the exact same venue. And we lost, of course, because our defense decided they wanted to give up a couple scores, and our offense couldn't do anything to mitigate that failure by just picking up a first down. So we're going to get into why that is. So if you're a little queasy, I had a whole show plan. I was going to tell you how we're going to win this week, because I had a pretty good bead forming on what we're trying to do at quarterback, whether we're trying to salvage this season, whether we're trying to pad up Tua again, whatever we're trying to do. I had a whole show plan. And I get up this morning and I get a text from El Capitan saying, "Yo, you got to check this out." This tweet from Reason, friend of the show. How you doing this morning, Reason? And it totally threw everything I had to say to y'all out the window. Well, most of it. Some of it just got exemplified. So unfortunately, based on this new information, juxtaposed to all the information that was gathered yesterday by yours truly, who does his homework, I have absolutely no idea what to tell you. For anybody that thought they wanted to come here to hear some football talk and some strategy and some, whatever I happen to know about X's and O's, and opinions on, how are we gonna right the ship? We're gonna beat the Titans. We're gonna set a good table for Tua if he wants to come back, or anybody else that might want to be better than what we got. Well, see, unlike everybody else, good morning, S. Harris, by the way. Unlike everybody else, I actually think about what I'm saying before I say it. And sometimes that can come out fairly slow. Might want to try it sometime. And I'm just, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, yeah, okay. It's just like I told you last week. If the team wants to show up, then this is what we need to do to win. Well, the evidence is showing now that what we saw last week with the attitude of our team and our coaching and everybody in the organization, we're going to be seeing more of the same until Tua decides to suit up again. Until, first of all, he's authorized to, and then secondly, whenever he decides to. And then that's at which point our season can resume, and all the players are going to all of a sudden show up. Mike McDaniel's going to have all the right pieces on the field. Teron Armstead won't be injured anymore. We'll have a good offensive line again, which, by the way, is actually pretty good this year. So for any of you that came here for straight football talk on our Dolphins, unfortunately, I can't provide it for you. I have no idea what to tell you. The organization has decided to pump out so much conflicting information as they would do. Any smart organization would. I have absolutely no idea what type of personnel we're going to have on the field Monday night to even give you a clue as to what we can expect and how we can win this football game. I mean, I could tell you how we can win a football game if that's what you want me to do. Run the ball, execute your plays, score more points than your defense lets the other team score. That's literally my whole synopsis for this game coming up. That's all I have to say about it. That's all I can say about it. Anybody out there that's providing you content right now and shows and, oh, the linebackers are going to need to do this, that, and the other. Anybody telling you all that is just wasting time. They're burning time and creating show material so that S. Harris doesn't get bored and they can keep it flowing nice and fast for the microwave society. This ain't about holding info so your opponent don't know. Our opponent's going to blitz the hell out of us. It don't matter what we do. Our opponent is going to stack the box. They're going to challenge us to throw, and they're going to send the pressure. You can tell them you've got whoever you want back there, and they're going to do the same thing. We have thus far not shown the ability, since we played Dallas last year, to stop that or to overcome that. So there's no help coming to the Alamo, folks. We're in it. Mike McDaniel made his bed. Chris Greer gave him the sheets and the blankets and the pillows. The cat done ripped up one of the pillows, the good pillow. And now we got a bunch of hard pillows to lay our head on. Well, it might, S. Harris, but you're here an awful lot. But I appreciate it, man. It is what it is. I'll try to speed it up for you, man. Don't worry, I'm gonna put we're gonna watch Mike McDaniel from yesterday. And we're gonna have to put it in 1.5 speed at least. Because I almost fell asleep watching it in 1.5 speed. But I thought it was pretty indicative of what's going on right now. That Mike McDaniel is actually admitting to learning the hard way about not having depth at quarterback. You have to, this is a whole new level of incompetence, whether purposeful or not. I mean, you have to be, you would have to believe that an Ivy League graduate is that incompetent, or you would have to believe what they're doing is purposeful. So we're going to look at the evidence for both positions, whether it's just pure incompetence or whether it's purposeful. So if any of you are queasy about speculation, opinions, broken takes, criticism of Tua, if any of you get queasy about that and don't like that and can't handle it, there are 10 other shows out there you can watch. If you want to believe the company line when it's convenient for you to, if you want to stick your head in the dirt, you want to be Pollyannish, you want to believe that the path the organization has us on is a winning one. You want to believe that this, that, and the other about everybody that comes through the door. You want to believe what you want to believe about Skylar Thompson and all this other stuff. Y'all can believe whatever you want to believe. But if you get queasy about telling you that that's all a crock of shit, then you might not want to listen to today's show, because we gonna get in it. We're gonna get in it, wallow around it, rub it all over ourselves, because there ain't no sunshine today to rub on us. It's Wednesday and there ain't no sunshine. Y'all old heads might get the reference to the Richard Pryor joke there. Oh, I know somebody that'll get that reference. I don't see him in chat yet. Maybe I missed him. Mudbone will get that reference. Mudbone knows exactly what I'm talking about. Hit the like button, everybody. I forgot to ask you to do that. Yeah, I'm not coming for you, S. Harris. Seemed like you were coming for me, though. But hit the like button, man. Appreciate you being here. Deuce Goose over in Seattle, who had a hell of a time last game. Of course, Pete. What's up, Pete? Pete saying, why so negative, Culler? Pete has the honor of being the most and probably the only positive fan in the fan base right now. Although the two in ears, Pete, are coming along. They're coming back to your side because everything's looking, the narrative's set back in place. Everything's just so again. And somebody's feelings don't have to be hurt. The delicate situation has been managed again, as Adam Beasley reported. And I quote, I understand why the Dolphins didn't want to bring in a more established backup given the delicate situation they were in with Tua this offseason. But in retrospect, it'll go down as a total blunder. That was written on September 22nd. It's now September 25th. And we're all good again. Tua's going to come back. Mike McDaniel's going to get Tyler Huntley ready. While he's out there suggesting that he's going to play Skyler again. Conflict number one. You got Alan Poupart, friend of the show. Not a friend to the show, just a friend of the show. Mike McDaniel says General Manager Chris Greer will be evaluating whether to bring in another QB. What type of QB, we don't know. Starter, backup, pop warder. We don't know. So, Capitan, I was going to bring all that to you today. Be like, well, looks like we're going to go with Boyle. That's what I was going to, and kind of base on my takes on this game with a guy like Boyle starting, possibly Huntley. I still think the way they're talking about Huntley, maybe Mike McDaniel changes his MO. But if he doesn't, I was going to go with Boyle. I like him talking up Skyler, but let's face it, Skyler is going to be not a good option regardless, even if Mike McDaniel believes in him, because I don't believe that injury is the type of injury you just play on for a guy like him. I mean, if you're talking about Patrick Mahomes, that's one thing, but, not only that, but even if you wanted to keep a table set for Tua, do you think the fans, all of a sudden, all the fans that were hating on Skyler yesterday don't see that as a fallacy? Like, they think that, forget Skyler, they think one of these three quarterbacks is going to keep the table set for Tua. To what end, I don't know. Because even with Tua, and one game from Skyler, it's not like we have done anything since we played Dallas last year. And we didn't even do anything in that game. But score 5 field goals. So Cap shares a tweet with me from Reason. Says Jeremy Fowler is reporting that the Miami Dolphins are not actively looking into a trade for a QB upgrade, and implies it's because they expect Tua back. Graziano speculates that if Skyler isn't healthy enough to go, Huntley could be the starter on Monday for Miami. And he ends with the question of why is Skyler even being considered? I mean, that's a whole separate question. I can answer it because I don't have to look away. I don't have to imagine that things were equal or even near equal from coaching all the way down to player personnel up to and including player attitude. I told you all that's why we would lose, and that's why we lost. Don't matter if Skyler's there, Tua's there, Boyle's there, Huntley's ass Boyle from sitting on the bench. Don't matter. If all the players are ever going to want to do is play when the QB1 is in, then what are we doing? Because QB1 can't even get it done. This is the part where I said Tua and ears might want to close their ears. QB1 cannot get it done. Hashtag it. But you think we're going to be 1-5? And miraculously, all these stats are going to go back up because all of a sudden, somebody ain't getting poked in the eye and getting a concussion from it? I know that can happen. You don't have to tell me. So Reason posted transcripts from the conversation, I suppose. Says, while the Dolphins make plans, I don't, it doesn't say who this is actually talking. I guess this is between Fowler and Graziano. While the Dolphins make plans at quarterback for at least the next 3 weeks without Tua, a trade for a passer doesn't seem likely at this point. A source said Miami is, quote, not much into it at this time, end quote. Number one, I'd like to know who this, obviously we'll never know. It wouldn't be a good source if anybody could tell us who the source is. But I find it interesting that a source said, doesn't say a source in Miami. It says a source said Miami is, quote, not much into it at this time, end quote. Keep in mind, all signs are that Tua wants to play again this season, and he's eligible as early as week 7. Making a flashy move for a quarterback, potentially disrupting the loose timeline and plans of Tua and the team, comes with risk. Now the Dolphins might have to do something. Now the Dolphins might have to do something. So all of this is a bit of a moving target. In the short term, Miami must decide whether Skylar Thompson will be available and make plans around that with backups Tyler Huntley and Tim Boyle in mind. Graziano says, my sense of the Miami Dolphins quarterback situation with Tua remains out indefinitely. While Tua remains out indefinitely, is that yes, it's possible they start Tyler on Monday, but that likely depends on Skylar Thompson's health. Thompson started in week 3 but suffered a chest injury, and at this point in the week, the Dolphins aren't sure how much he's going to be able to do in practice and whether he'll even be healthy enough to play in week 4. Huntley just got there last week, and while they like him and he has a shot to start at some point, particularly if Thompson doesn't show more than he did Sunday before his injury, the Dolphins would like to get Huntley some more practice reps in their offense before throwing him out there on the field. If Thompson can't go, then I think the coaches spend the week building some sort of scaled down game plan based around what Huntley can do and start him over Tim Boyle. Regardless, this is difficult. Okay. You're talking about checking to make sure Skylar is not going to be terrible again if he does play, to slowly start rolling Huntley and get him some reps in practice. And like, this is a baseball season with 162 games, and we got plenty of time. And yeah, our quarterback, when he comes back and the rest of the team decides they want to play again, and McDaniel decides he wants to put the proper personnel out there again to support a quarterback. Oh, when all that happens, we're going to score 13 points a game for the rest of the year, starting with a 1-5 record. That is a brilliant plan, ladies and gentlemen. No help at the Alamo for the Dolphins. Look, it's tank with Tua time. What do you got to say, El Capitan? Good morning.
First of all, this isn't Capitan. This is the sorcerer. I am the source. I know all of the insides.
Oh, damn, man. You spoofed his... Man, what are you doing, bro? Hold on. We can't take a risk there, man. I have to check. I mean, you're not going to get naked on me, right?
How much money do you have?
Enough.
We can talk about it then.
Actually, I don't have any money, but what do you have to say, sorcerer?
I don't know. I can't pull this bit off right now, Culler. I'm not prepared.
I know.
But yes, the sorcerer speaks again because it's conflicting sourced reports from here on out, while the Dolphins and media pundits alike buy time for Tua Tagovailoa, apparently. I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the other than buying time for him, what else is there? Like, what are we doing? We're looking at quarterbacks, but we're not interested.
But we were looking at third string backups, and since there's none of those better than what we got, the search is over. Chris Greer did whatever Alan Poupart said he was going to do already. That's it.
I mean, you know what?
We're not bringing in anybody better than Tua, so it don't matter. We've already looked. That's it.
Before we got Tyler Huntley, right? Dolphins fans and creators alike are like, well, these are the quarterbacks that can come in and Dolphins should look to add. And I'm like, y'all are fucking dumb. You think the Dolphins are going to add somebody? They can't add anybody of note because Tua's ego can't handle it.
Yeah.
If the
those
Dolphins
guys are all gone. We were supposed to do that this offseason.
Again,
and every one of them came off the board right in front of us.
Not only that, Culler, but like, look, okay, what did we do? Trade? And why is anyone going to do us the solid and let us trade for their backup? Like, we're talking the Russell Wilsons of the world. I've seen this thing. Russell Wilson, 6th or 7th. Why the fuck would the Steelers do that? Why? Why would they
need
give
a
up their
backup
quarter? Not only that, why are they doing us? You want Fields or if you want fucking Wilson? I'll take a second rounder. That's what it's going to cost right now because the Dolphins are on the ropes and everybody knows it because it's poor management and poor management for years. The way they've malpracticed with this quarterback situation, all because of Tua's fragile fucking ego. That's the facts, bro. That's the facts. That's the facts. We aren't allowed to have somebody as a backup that fans could look to at any given moment because our quarterback can't take it. That's the facts. And if you brought somebody in now, Ryan Tannehill, which I don't know how you're going to pay for him. We only got $6 million in cap right now. Tua's going to throw a hissy fit and I'm not playing anymore. He'll take his ball and go home like a little bitch. That's the facts. There is nobody available outside of us going to another team that has something we want. And they're going to be like, well, I don't need to do anything. I want a 3rd and a 5th. I want a 2nd rounder. That's right. That's what we're trading for right now.
Right.
That's it.
Because they need a backup. They needed a backup.
Yeah. Now they can, they could potentially, say fine. And we've got a 3rd string guy that we like on the roster, that, we're going to keep and elevate, but they're not going to do us a solid and just hand that over.
Well, the thing of it is, bro, is that they never really explicitly said that they were intending to compete, that they were functioning as if they're in a window, right? They never do that. Like nobody came out and said that this is the Steelers window. You know what I mean? But they are in a window.
The Steelers
so what
don't
they said was So what they said was, we're going to bring Justin Fields in because he's likely better than what we had in Kenny Pickett. Okay. And even if he's not, oh, well, we're in the same boat. But if he's not, then we're going to bring in this guy called Russell Wilson that we know can throw bombs to Pickens if that's our game at the rest of the year. But we still have a chance to compete. They said that and went and got Russell Wilson. Why do they have any incentive to send him to us? They're still in the same boat. What if 4 games from now Justin Fields gets figured out and they can't move the ball anymore?
On the face of it, right, heading into this season, the Steelers could have taken the easy route and been in a perceptive
and just
tank
had
mode.
Pickett backing up Fields, right?
Or just rolled out Pickett and let the team fucking win 4 games and move towards the draft for a quarterback next year. But that's not what the Steelers do, because they're a good run organization. Tanking isn't an option because that breeds failure and loserdom. That breeds losers. But Dolphins fans, Tua goes down. Tank the season. And you know what? Maybe we are in a pseudo silent tank mode right now. How about all that? I mean, God bless.
Well, I already warned everybody that there's going to be rampant speculation today on today's show. So go ahead. Look, I'm going to start you off. Okay. Why is everybody smiling on the sideline while we're losing?
Well, not for nothing, because there's no repercussions. That's what we are.
Well, not only that, but you got to deal with Tyreek. You want to get some assets from somebody, but you want to replace that talent in the draft. Hey, Tua, how about we pamper you? We make you a god. We give you a new contract that let's say is risky for us. And guess what? If the worst happens, look, y'all, like, in other words, Greer said Flores didn't want to do it. Okay. And Mike McDaniels must have said, look, I'll do it, but Tua's got to do it too. I mean, what are we talking about here?
I think Mike
give him his money,
McDaniel,
sit him on the bench. And while everybody laughs and giggles that the fans thought this was going to be a real season, while we tank to get some more talent for Tua. Is this Deshaun Watson in Cleveland? Is this what we're watching here? And they've got every two and ear out there now. Oh, yeah, we're going to middle along until Tua comes back. Let me tell y'all something. And I'm glad Capitan is here because he came right back at him swinging. Omar Kelly tweets, speaking of Mike McDaniel, the man ran the top offense in the NFL last year and finished 6th in his first season. Now he's an idiot. Yeah, Omar. Yeah. Or it's purposeful. Take your choice. I can prove either one. Because as El Capitan so astutely pointed out to Omar, the Miami Dolphins are averaging 13.57 points per game dating back to last year's Dallas victory. That's right. 13.6 points per game since we played Dallas last year. And you want to tell me Skylar Thompson is trash?
Well, Skylar Thompson may be trash, right?
Fine.
But it's
fine.
right on,
We can
it's
get
right
to
on
that.
par with the rest of the offense.
Fine. We wrote that in the book already, Capitan. Skylar Thompson's trash. Now what?
So Skylar Thompson's trash.
Play him again?
The offense has been trash. And we paid extra to keep the garbage. That's what we did. We paid extra this offseason to continue to score an average of 13.5, 13.6 points per game.
Oh, it's
That's what
much
we
lower this season so far. It's
Oh yeah,
11.
we're 11 points a game so far. So we've actually regressed from the final quarter of last season to now, which is right on par from what I've seen from Skyler. Anyhow, he looks like a quarterback that's not half as good as he was when he first came here.
I do have to correct some information I put out yesterday that I did, but it was 4, not 3. Okay, one more, fair enough. We have scored 4 touchdowns in 18 quarters of football.
Good Lord.
Skylar Thompson is responsible for 3 of those quarters.
Yeah, so in 15
so let's
quarters,
put it this way. So let's
in
put
15
it this
quarters,
way.
we scored 4
Let's
touchdowns.
put it this way, since quarterbacks are wins and losses and blah, 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 and Tua is the man, and okay, fine. And this system with McDaniel is awesome as long as we got Tua. Okay, fine. Let's talk. Let's put it the way it should be said. Okay, in 15 quarters of football, Tua Tagovailoa has led his offense to 4 touchdowns in 15 quarters of football. That's 1 touchdown every 4 quarters, roughly. 1.5. And I mean, and you wonder why Mike McDaniel is possibly going to put Skyler back in? Because Mike McDaniel knows that if his system is not the problem, which is what everybody spouts on the internet all day, everybody except for Chris Perkins, of course, who listens to my show, apparently.
Listen, it's so funny because S. Harris, get him to the gooch, he really thinks like you've got a hard-on for Skyler. And you're missing the point, Harris.
I know.
You're missing it, bro.
I can scream out my window right now that Skyler is trash, and my neighbors would be like, so what?
Nobody gives a fuck all about Skyler. The thing is that everyone wants to ball up the failures of the offense on 3 quarters of football from Skylar Thompson. He's just more of the same, buddy. That's all. He's more of the fucking same. This offense has been a net before he got here. And
here's the thing.
Do we expect a 7th rounder to fucking pull us out from the darkness?
Right.
No.
And here's the thing. This offense, okay, is slightly better with Tua. In other words, you guys are right. Tua can run this offense better than Skyler. Y'all are right.
Look, he's like, no, and everything comes back to Tua. Yes, you know why?
Right.
Because I'm going to tell you why it comes back to Tua. I'm going to tell you, Harris. Because since the day we drafted him, it's only been about building around him. Everything. Tank for Tua was real as fuck.
Yeah, and now it's all about playing for him only.
We fired a coach that was going to be the type of football team we're asking for today. The type of football team fans are asking to see today is the type of team that coach was building. And he said, can't do it with this quarterback. Insert Mike McDaniel, who says, I can do it with this quarterback. Here we are,
and
starting the 3rd year. He can't do it with this quarterback. And let's be real, this quarterback still can't stay healthy.
Right. And Cap, I'm starting to believe that was part of the enticement to get some of these star players to come. Like, hey, you see what's going on here? You're likely not going to have to play, because in order for, if you're willing to come here and help us make Tua look good, then we'll guarantee that you won't have to play if he gets injured. You won't have to play under anybody else. That's literally what's going on here. And if you don't like that speculation, prove me otherwise. Show me the evidence of otherwise. Because, again, if I can say it again, you guys are right. Tua runs this offense better than anybody probably. But guess what? That just tells you where the problem is at. Because if Tua is running this offense properly, this offense sucks. I'm sorry to tell you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. I would agree with this take, right? Tua Tagovailoa with Mike McDaniel has squeezed every bit of juice out of the fruit that can come out of this offense. And the facts remain that in the final quarter of the season, this offense can't get it done in the playoffs in the final quarter of the season. It can't get it done with these speedy little wide receivers. It can't get it done with this outside speed zone that they're trying to run. And if you don't believe me, go back and watch the last 6 weeks from the past 2 seasons. Those are the facts. It can't get it done.
Right.
To
So when you're
and
talking
that
about
might
anything
not be
but,
Tua's fault. That might not be Mike McDaniel's fault. That might be whatever. To me, it is an ideology problem. And that I will refer to you back to my earlier statement. The last coach wanted to build a team that was a power identity team. That's what he wanted. And yeah, it ain't pretty. Yeah, it ain't fun. We're never gonna beat somebody by 70 points because they're not gonna get these one hit plays to touchdowns. It's just
right.
not what it is. It's drive the length of the field, control the clock, score, and then play hard nosed defense and prevent them from scoring.
Yep.
And it's
And
boring
so,
football to casuals. That's what it is.
yep. And so making a decision. So any decision other than bringing in a guy like that's available, that's that can salvage our season, that is better than Tua. Any decision besides that is tanking. And I'm sorry that it may be the fact that there's nobody else to bring in. Sure. But nobody can show me evidence since Dallas last year that it's going to be any different with Tua in the game. So y'all can clap like little seals when people tell you things that make you feel good about Tua coming back and us and him rescuing our season and all that. Look, if that happens, then that's on our players for wasting the first 8 weeks of our season. Because as I told you last week, if the players don't show up, we don't win. I don't care if it's because they got a splinter in their toe or if it's because they don't like playing for anybody but Tua. It's junk. Capitan pointed out something to me this morning on our phone call, and it just dawned on me. How come San Francisco doesn't have this problem when their quarterback gets injured? They keep going like a well-oiled machine. And you're not going to tell me it's because Skyler's that bad.
I'll give you another one.
Because we were losing games with Teddy throwing for 329 yards. So don't tell me it's because Skyler is bad.
Color, I'll give you another one. The Steelers perceptively haven't had a quarterback since Ben left. They haven't. They haven't had an answer at quarterback or anything, any consistency at the quarterback position. But that team's never tanked. That team's always winning. They're in the fucking playoffs every damn year, it seems like, because they're a well-run football team. That was the type of football team I was hoping. It's the reason why Tomlin didn't get the job to begin with Miami, because that's not what this owner wants. He wants all splash and no substance. That's the facts. People don't want to, accept it. And there's so many people that are just holding their breath as if their Messiah Tua Tagovailoa is going to come in and save this season. And you know what? Let's
Mm-hmm.
say this. Let's operate in this paradigm. Tua comes back. The Dolphins say eke out one more win. We did this exercise earlier today. They come back. They're I don't know 2-5, 2-4. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And Tua comes back and rattles off wins and losses. Doesn't get hurt. Dolphins get in as a wild card team and lose in the first round of the playoffs as a wild card team on the road. But Tua, keeps to his numbers, on par to his average, looks like the same guy, and even this year has won some games against teams that are over 500 and late in the season in December, which would be a major step and a big difference from what we've gotten. Let's just say that this happens. What fucking good did it buy us at all? We haven't. It's just the same result, just a different way of getting there. We're still the same football team because we have a quarterback that we can't count on because of injuries. We have an offense that we can't count on because it lacks discipline, and it lacks the ability to just move the ball down the field in a normal sense. Run, pass, run, pass, run. You know what I'm saying? Like, just there's all,
Right.
it's just, to me,
Uh,
none of this is getting any better.
real quick, I see Billy has posted this a couple times the past couple days. I don't know what he's trying to say, but he's saying 9-3 is shit because we were 9-3 at one point last year. I guess maybe he's trying to say
That's what we
that
were. That's
means
what we
something.
were.
Right. Well,
That's
okay, so that was 9-3. That's 12 games, right? So if you go back, if you look, that would put it at the up to the Washington win. Okay, that means since the loss to Tennessee, we're 3-6. How about that for a record? Since the victory in Dallas against Dallas, we're 2-5. How about that for a record?
Yeah, Dolphins fans want to cherry pick all these stats that prove hope is still out there. I'm
We
not
are
saying don't be
2-5 in
hopeful.
our last 7 ball games, dude. I mean, 2-5. Now,
Look,
when Brian Flores was 1-6 in his first 7 ball games, what were we saying? But we're 2-5 in our last 7. And we want to act like Tua is going to make a difference. Did Tua make a difference for Brian Flores? Well, yeah, because we turned the season around. But did he make a difference against Tennessee that year?
is Billy saying that we manifested the collapse with TD of this
I
team?
guess so. I guess so.
I think, well, you know what I want? I want to manifest myself a bigger bank account, buddy. That's what, like, if I could manifest stuff, I'm
Yeah.
going to be manifesting all kinds of cool shit.
Right. And I know as Harris, he started 1-7. I'm saying, in order to go 1-7, he had to at some point also be 1-6. So let's compare 6 game stretches. We are 2-5. If we lose this week, we're 2-6. There's your 1-7.
Carla loves Tua, baby. I mean, goddamn, he's the fucking great hope, man. He gonna come back and save us. He's gonna save us,
Embarrassed
boys.
by Skyler.
And everybody's laughing at us because of Skyler.
I
Yeah,
picked us
fuck
to
Skyler.
lose against Seattle with Tua before the season started. So what
Here's the thing,
does this
Color.
have anything to do with them?
I think what we should do is get Skyler, drag him into a circle, and allow the Dolphins fans to stone him to death. That's what they want to do. That's what because it's all his fault too. Matter of fact, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Skylar Thompson, and this is the sorcerer speaking now. Skylar Thompson actually put gelatin that hardens like concrete into his helmet. That's why Tua got injured. That's why Tua's been getting concussed. It's been Skylar Thompson all along trying to kill Tua.
Who knew?
I mean, I've been trying. The sorcerer speaks again. I'm telling you guys, it's all these Dolphins. As soon as Skylar's off this roster and not backing anybody up, not playing any football, not in the city of Miami, this team is. We're gonna win a Super Bowl.
And I don't know why you'd expect different results with either Boyle or Huntley, other than that Huntley can actually, flip everybody a bird and make something happen. But that should have been, if that's the case, he should have been brought in last year.
Certainly should have been brought in the offseason.
Right. So all of a sudden, what are we going to, I mean, here's the thing. What incentive? I mean, Mike McDaniel knows that Skylar Thompson don't have any support in the fan base. He could have just cut him.
Oh, look, now it's our fault that other fans of other networks come here to troll us. That's not my fault, Billy. That's y'all's fault for not being fucking good enough.
And by the way, they're way better
Billy.
trolls. They are way better trolls than Two and Ears are. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, and they're better sports about it too.
Two and Ears just get personal. They go right to personal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And lying about you and putting words in your mouth and stuff like that. Good trolls don't have to do that.
Nah.
Good trolls will make the person they're trolling laugh. That's a good troll.
Yeah.
Cap, I don't know how stable you are, but I need about a 2-minute maybe intermission to see what Mom was calling about. She's had to go to MD now because she's having a big issue.
All right, go ahead. I'll hold it down. They're getting the sorcerer for the next 120 seconds. That's what they're getting.
Alrighty.
So look, everybody, I'm trying to be as chill about it as possible because the facts remain, and Culler's been kind of talking about it. This is either a full case of malpractice, which is terrible at the quarterback position, paying the quarterback, not letting him ride out the 5th year. If Tua never plays again, then yeah, it's easy to spot as malpractice in hindsight. But also just not ever bringing in, whether it was drafting or signing competent backup, that's malpractice in itself. So it's either an incompetency or it's a maliciousness. And it's hard to decipher between the two, whether it was malicious or incompetency, because we all know the facts are that you, Miami Dolphin fans, know the facts that the Dolphins weren't allowed to bring someone in of notoriety as a backup, because if Tua was going to, be injured or slip or, whatever the case may be, that hurts his fragile ego. He can't take the fact that somebody's there. He gonna take his ball and go home if the fans call for the backup because he's having a terrible game.
I mean, they're literally reporting it now, dude. Like, we didn't bring nobody in because of the delicate situation with Tua.
It's just amazing because, Culler, if y'all want to really know what's really going on, you pay attention to this channel and listen to the people that are on it. Because everything we said that was happening, everything we said that was wrong is all coming true 2 years later. That's the facts.
Oh, by the way, I was just about to point that out and show another example of it. Let me remind everybody the context here. And most of my loyal listeners will understand the context right away. Because everybody knows what I've been saying about this West Coast system and who it can be run by and whether Look, I've told you all. Okay, you're right. Nobody can come in here and be Tua. Nobody can come in here and run the Tua wrinkle. Okay, but I've used that word plenty of times. I even said, and EM can even vouch for me on this, because I've said this to him publicly and privately, that Mike McDaniel is a West Coast guy, and every West Coast guy tries to add their own personal touch to it, to make a mark, to innovate it, so everybody knows that's different than the normal West Coast. That's Mike McDaniel's West Coast. Okay. Yeah. And that I said that the wrinkle, the word I used 1,000 times, okay, the wrinkle that he was trying to add was a vertical element to an East and West game. And that was going to require speed. He's trying to add the speed aspect to the West Coast, the vertical speed, bringing in Tyreek Hill, drafting Jalen Waddle, all this stuff. I mean, I know he didn't draft Waddle, but you know what I mean, right? Utilizing all that speed and misdirection to go vertical. That's something nobody's been able to really do, because the East Coast, West Coast system, the East-West philosophy doesn't set up blocking schemes to be able to go vertical like that.
No, it goes East and West. And it's this. Here's the problem, Culler.
Well, real quick.
The West Coast system is designed for a running scheme first, but continue.
Well, here's the thing. It's really designed to be all-encompassing, but that's a different point, right? So, Chris Perkins tweets out yesterday. For those of you who don't know, Chris Perkins writes for the Sun Sentinel, The Athletic, Palm Beach Post, Dallas News, and the Star Telegram. 39,000 followers on Twitter. Go give him a follow. Chris Perkins tweets out yesterday, McDaniel is a sharp guy. Maybe he saw he could put a personnel wrinkle, or maybe he saw he could put a personal wrinkle.
I'll be back, Culler.
On the Shanahan system with speed. I respect that. It hasn't worked. Time for muscular tweak. I can't believe no one in the building has insisted on that. From Stephen Ross to Greer, and including many others. So, again, I'd like to thank Chris Perkins for tuning in. Hope you're having a wonderful afternoon, as we are now over the hour mark. Hit the like button, everybody. It's time to do that. We're an hour in, and it is 12:30. We have transitioned from morning to afternoon, and that means it's time to hit the like button. Only 22 likes? You guys are pitiful. Oh, my God. No wonder all these YouTubers call their audience pitiful all the time. That's pitiful. I mean, hit the dislike button if you don't like what I'm saying, but hit something. It's not that hard. I do have a poll going that I started before the show started. Do you think the Dolphins are actually tanking with Tua and with the support of Tua and with Tua behind it, eyes wide open? Are the Dolphins tanking with Tua? Yes, no, or it's impossible to tank with Tua. And I know I put that answer in there. People might think it's a joke answer, but it's not. I know a lot of you believe that things will be different when Tua comes back. I don't know how I can show you different. I don't know how many times I can prove with evidence that that's not going to be the case or unlikely to be the case, but whatever. I know we're still Dolphin fans. I know y'all are still Tua fans. I'm still a Tua fan as long as he's wearing the jersey. Ain't a fan of the system. Not a fan of his game. But I'm certainly a fan of the man and fan of the player. Hey, he's a Dolphin until he's not a Dolphin. So if you believe it's impossible to tank with Tua, go ahead and answer that way. 103 of you have kindly voted already. We got more people voting than likes. How is that possible? That means like 60-some people that voted didn't hit. They voted, but they didn't use the calories to hit the like button. That's weird. Anyway, 104 votes now. 46% of you said yes, the Dolphins are tanking with Tua. 32% said no, that you actually think we're trying to salvage this season. And 20% say it's impossible to tank with Tua. So we'll add them to the no. That means that 52% of you don't think the Dolphins are actually tanking with Tua. Okay. Interesting. I'll keep the poll going. We'll get as large a sample size as possible. Remember, everybody, if you haven't voted, go ahead and vote, because the larger the sample size, the better we can actually say that those are, that it's a decent poll, like, that's the actual mood of the community here at Finn's Tailgate. So appreciate all of you who have voted so far. We got 144 listening and watching right now on various platforms. Come over to YouTube and subscribe to us if you haven't. Hit the notification bell, and you will be good to go to know when all of us go live. Go to TFTGnetwork.com. Check out all our links to all of our content, socials, everything. Hit me up on Twitter. You can shout at me, whatever. Yell at me. Tell me I'm an idiot. Whatever you want to do. I don't think Twitter's real anyway, but hit me up over there at ColorCom. And make sure you go to the store at TFTGnetwork.com to check out all the great gear we have there. And get yourself a color coffee and a cup of color. Get yourself a color commentary hat, t-shirt. I'd like to say coffee mug again one day. And stickers and stuff like that, But apparently the coffee mugs are not currently available for manufacture. So Shake's got the only one, and he's not letting it go. I had one almost exactly like the one in my picture, and it broke. I broke it. I got mad at S. Harris one morning, and I tossed it across the room. Just kidding. Look, I know y'all don't want to believe that, we're just done. I mean, we're done. Will it look better? Will we get some wins? Will we have a shot? Will we maybe make it in the playoffs? Maybe. With Tua? Yeah, probably. But there's absolutely no evidence to support that Mike McDaniel is going to get anything different going anytime soon. So even when the players show up for a guy like Tua, we still, 13.6 points per game. That's where we're at right now for the last 6 ball games, 7 ball games. That just ain't enough. I'm baffled by it. Some other tweets we saw yesterday. No, we already got to that one. We got to that one yesterday. Somebody writes, y'all still think he's an NFL QB, or can we finally send him to Costco where he belongs? That's referring to Skylar Thompson. Omar Kelly 2 days ago tweeted, they lost their QB and now the fan base has some understanding of how good Tua is. I mean, don't you see what they're doing? Like, you've got to be kidding me. How good Tua is because Mike McDaniel refuses to change his wrinkle. And Tua's the only one that can do it. Well, you know what? I'm going to say it again, just like I said yesterday. Your wrinkle sucks. It sucks. It beats trash teams that have problems in their secondary. Dan Orlovsky, if you ever questioned how good Tua is or was, watch this offense try and operate without him. What offense? Tanner Connor? Julian Hill? I didn't even see Jonnu Smith's jersey until like late in the second quarter. Yeah, try watching this offense operate without Teron Armstead. You know what you get? 45.8% pressure rate on your quarterback. That's what you get. For all of you that keep blaming the O-line for everything and say how trash our O-line is, guess what? You were right. You were right Sunday. 45.8% pressure rate on our quarterback. Can anybody help me how many times that's pressured per drop back? Can anybody help me with that math? Should be easy enough to round up to 50% and realize that that's really close to 1 out of every 2 dropbacks. Yeah, Jermaine, you know what? Yeah, Jermaine, I have a personal issue with Tua. He's robbing my football team of its chance for the next however many years. Yeah, I do. And I've just admitted that the offense is better than Tua, better with Tua. So what? It sucks. That's like telling me that an automobile driver is better than another because he's only missing an arm instead of missing a leg. That's like telling me garbage smells better than shit. I don't know why you can't just admit that. So if our defense holds Tennessee to not more than 12 points this week, Monday night, we have a real shot at winning this game. That's my take for this week. That's our key to victory. If the defense can hold Tennessee to 12 points, we have a real shot at winning this week. I mean, that's it. Y'all know how I roll. I look at stats and evidence and eye test, and I put it all together, and I say, here's some keys of how we're going to win. Well, I think we can win this week. I'm wrong sometimes. I'm right sometimes. This week, that's all I can say. If Anthony Weaver can get these guys fixed, since it's the biggest problem on our team, if Anthony Weaver can get these guys fixed on defense and we can keep them to 12 points or less, we've got a real shot at winning this game. Because I think Tim Boyle or Huntley could probably put up 13 points, our average, for the last 7 games. And what are we going to say when Huntley balls out because he uses his legs? Are we going to say we finally found the guy that can run our offense and go off script? Is that what we're going to do? And then 5 games later, when he's throwing 2 or 3 interceptions a game, where it'll be like, oh, that's right, it's just Tyler Huntley. To his back, it's okay. Carla, you're the one that quits all the time. You're the one that rolls around when when the atmosphere's just right. Your boy sucks. He does. No matter how much you insult me, Tua ain't getting any better. And I don't have to quit anymore. In case you didn't notice, I don't have to quit anymore. I also don't have to run and hide when Tua does bad, or when Skyler does bad, or when McDaniel calls a shit game for 7 games in a row. I don't have to hide. I don't hide from my fandom. I walk my ass right down the street with my Dolphins gear on, and I get laughed at. Yeah, still going on. That's right. Still laughing at me. You know why they're laughing? Because they're laughing at your boy. They're laughing at that great left hand of God that we have. Yeah, but you got to understand, Carla, McDaniel's the biggest problem because of his belief in Tua. That's what you don't understand. And when McDaniel gets fired for it, he's going to be fired for rolling with Tua. He's not going to be fired for not having anybody else prepared to back him up. He's not going to be fired for any of that. He's going to be fired because he had to find out the hard way something we all knew. Four years into his coaching, and he's finding out the hard way that Tua is might not give us an entire season. And even if he does, what's the result? You know why? This is something I said in chat yesterday, and I'm going to say it now with my voice. You know why you don't hire a player-friendly coach? You know why you don't hire a guy that considers his players teammates? You know why you don't trust the men to handle their business? Because they're millionaires. They won't. They will sell you out, McDaniel. And this team is selling you out, including Tua. Tua looks at you as a joke. You kiss him on the head and you pump him up and you hype him up as this great person, and you guys are such great friends, and I can't get off of this guy because we're such great friends and blah, blah, blah. I'm so player friendly. They're laughing on the sidelines, and they're laughing at you, McDaniel. We're all trying to, why are the players so happy in a loss on the sideline? They're laughing at their coach. They're laughing at the fans. They're laughing at Chris Greer, who just poured a bunch of money on them. They're laughing at Stephen Ross, the old billionaire. They're laughing. But they got their money. They got their bag. They're all right. Let's all march for the millionaires. That's what we do in this society now. We march for the millionaires. And anybody can call BS on it. That's how I feel right now. I'm telling you how I feel. That's right. I'm in my feelings. People don't get on the internet and expect people to want to watch them without expressing their feelings. What do you want me to do? Sit here and list off a bunch of stats and measurables on the linebacker that might do something this week to help us win? And why? I don't feel any of that. I don't feel like doing it. I had a whole show planned last night, and every bit of it got evaporated because the team wants to come out and say shit the exact opposite that they said yesterday and the day before and the day before that. You got a bunch of Dolphin beat writers out there cucking the fan base. It's ridiculous. I want answers. As a season ticket holder, I want answers. Okay? Do I need to be prepared Monday night to come there in an evaluation mode for the future? Or do I need to come there as a fan to cheer on a possible season this year and the potential? Which is it? hey, Tua, we'll give you all this money. Don't worry about it. We're not going to hold you accountable this year because we need to get you weapons beyond Tyreek Hill. So don't worry. We'll take the hit for you. We'll fire McDaniel if we have to, if it comes to that. Don't worry. You already got your money. It's contracted. You're not going to get canned. Okay. Just sit there, even in the games that you're able to play, whatever, laugh it up, have a good time. Bring the fun back to football. We'll take care of it too. We got an excellent, excellent propaganda team. Don't worry. We'll take care of you, Tua. You just take your money, you sit there, you have a good life, take care of the head. And that way we can, be in a great position to draft some talent because we know we're going to move off Tyreek and we know that this and that ain't the answer. And we know we're not going to want to pay Jalen Phillips and all this other stuff. So let's go ahead and just, we'll put out the vibes. We'll have Sealer go out there and say we're taking the East or whatever, Mike McDaniel will make his little numerology word game with the number 24, and we'll make everybody believe. We'll sell a bunch of season tickets. We'll increase the price. We'll stop. Crypto, I put it in the text. We'll stop all the perks for the season ticket holders. We'll send them care packages from Buffalo, New York. We won't let them park within 5 miles of the stadium. So that way they can have a nice, long, hot walk of shame back to their car. So you just take it easy, Tua. Don't worry about Tyreek being gone. We got that covered in the next draft because, we're tanking with you, buddy. And here's the prepayment for it. That's what I'm thinking right now. Yeah, I could be wrong. I could be wrong about everything, but that's how I feel. That's what I'm thinking right now. This is absolutely ridiculous. But, ridiculous. Never been any shortage of that around these parts. Good morning, sir. Crypto, how you doing this morning?
What's going on? It's only fitting that I happen to be watching an episode about mega earthquakes, the greatest disasters in the history of mankind. Nothing is higher than earthquakes, the worst natural disaster of all time. But listen, that's the Dolphins for you right there. We're witnessing a mega earthquake right now. How fitting. It's like the San Francisco one of 1909, or is it the 1811 earthquake in out there in the southeastern Pacific?
Yeah.
So we're having our own mini earthquake right now for a franchise earthquake. So it's how fitting we talking about blowing up everything, everything crumbling down in the ashes, just like an earthquake. Everything crumbles, from beneath you. So yeah, it's a perfect conversation, man.
Yep.
The Dolphins quake, man.
Yeah, and I'm not. As a matter of fact, I'm not even trashing Tua anymore because anything we see from him could be purposeful at this point. When you talk about soft rebuild, you know what I mean? Well, we could be intending to keep Tua the long term still and do a rebuild. And if Tua's on board with that and doesn't care about people bitching about him on Twitter and on YouTube, then here's our soft rebuild.
That's the soft rebuild, yeah. We
With Tua.
Now, instead of bringing in a bridge quarterback, Tua becomes the bridge quarterback. How about that?
Right. That's precisely what I'm saying.
That's ironic, ain't it? Instead of bringing in a bridge quarterback, he is the bridge quarterback.
Precisely what I'm saying. And they'll lead us along, because they have what they've realized is that they have a cyclical recurring thing going on with this concussion. If the NFL is never going to force him out, then they could keep playing this for 4 or 5 games anytime it happens. You know what I mean?
Oh, and every 4 game cycle.
Yeah. And every now and then we'll get that full season with a shot to win. Tua's our permanent quarterback.
Oh man.
They weren't lying.
So
when they're trying to equate him with Dan Marino. He is our permanent quarterback.
Right. Oh yeah, and that aspect. Good point.
Back the way the word franchise quarterback used to mean. Like this guy's your permanent guy. Win or lose, you believe that it's never his fault, like we did with Dan Marino, which is why he was here 17 years.
17 years, yeah. And granted, he bought himself some grace by winning early.
Of course, that's my problem.
Early enough to get him there.
That's my problem with the situation. Is he's never bought any grace other than what? Flash.
Right. Exactly. I think Marino's down payment on 17 years was a Super Bowl in his appearance in his first 11 months of playing football.
I don't care why Dan Marino didn't win a Super Bowl, AB. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares, and it's called the down payment of grace.
I don't know why you all keep saying that, because you just want to deflect and start an argument about Dan Marino. Nobody cares why he didn't win a Super Bowl. We don't need to know why. It means nothing.
And you want to know, I always respond with that comment about Dan Marino. So does Zach Wilson. He never won the Super Bowl neither. So are they all the same?
I mean, they just reach for everything over and over and over again, Crypto. I'm done with it. I'm not debating it anymore.
Right.
They can say and put words in my, they can say whatever they want. I don't see that anymore.
There's levels to this. There's literally 1,000 quarterbacks that's never won the Super Bowl. You want to tell me all 1,000 quarterbacks is the same?
And Aqua, caliber? I know what he's saying. Culler, he's saying if you embrace Marino, embrace Tua. I know what he's saying. Super Bowls don't mean, the lack of a Super Bowl from Dan Marino doesn't mean Tua is good. And I should embrace him.
Right. That's what they try to false equivocate. That's the false equivalency that's going on when they make that statement. Embedded in that statement is the false equivalency that Dan Marino is Tua.
Because you believe Tua is going to win one. And we believed Dan Marino was going to win one. Here's the difference. We all believed Dan Marino was going to win one. You guys are the only ones believing Tua's gonna.
Right, that's the difference. It's not 100% across the board belief versus the two.
It's easy for all these people that, like Carla, Marino Nears. You're dating yourself, yeah. Carla. You're at least dating your maturity level.
Yeah.
I think Culler's going to be upset if I pick on him for liking Marino and not liking Tua. Yeah, I'm a Marino near. Sue me. See, I don't have to hide it. I don't have to act like, whatever. Yeah, I excuse the man. Yeah, I give him grace. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks ever to flip the rock.
You're not the only one that said that. The guy that's 4-0 in Super Bowls also said that. He put him ahead of himself. A guy that's 4-0, undefeated in Super Bowls, said Dan Marino is the best quarterback that ever played the game.
And I'm with Hooked Up Joe on that one, too. I'm with you, Hooked Up Joe. I just don't understand why people care if I like him or not. He sucks.
Yeah, they
really
always gloss over the
people's
fact that Joe
feelings?
Montana said that about Marino.
Bro, does that really hurt people's feelings when the guy hasn't accomplished any more than anybody else we say sucks? 3 weeks ago, Tim Boyle sucked.
Now he's your starting quarterback. He's QB1. Are we going to get behind where the Boyle-Neers at? Where are those guys at? Are we going to get behind the new QB1? Is this a weekly occurrence?
Hey, how many times have you heard, Crypto, how many times have you heard Skyler couldn't even beat out Mike White?
Yeah. Oh, man, we had hit that for like 12, 13 months.
Well, guess what, people? Guess what? Tyler Huntley couldn't even beat out Johnson.
Man. Damn. Wait a minute. Tyler Huntley, who is he? He was on after Galvin News Hardison, right?
He was on the Ravens practice squad, dude. That means he lost to their backup, which is Joe Johnson, I believe.
Joe Johnson, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't even beat out Joe. Ironic, the name Joe Johnson.
Lamar Jackson light, but he can't beat out Joe Johnson.
You want to know is that his name, not Joe Johnson or Joe Jackson? That would have been ironic because he would have been stepping out, just like the freaking song, right?
Now, to be fair to Huntley, they're almost a spitting image of each other. They probably just flipped a coin, to be honest with you.
Right.
But that's not the point. We're talking about that's one of the most used talking point for people that hate Skyler. Skyler couldn't even beat out Mike White, but we want to roll with Tyler Huntley.
Mike White. Is he in the building color?
Now here's what you do. You cut Boyle and you cut Skyler and you go get Mike White right away. Yeah, because the Bills are just going to, sure, here you go.
He didn't even, matter of fact, he didn't even play in that game last night, did he?
I don't know.
When they took Josh Allen out, I didn't see Mike White.
No, it probably would have been in Kyle Allen. Isn't that his backup?
Yeah. I didn't even see Mike White. I don't recall seeing him. They keep saying that he's on the Bills roster. Unless they cut him this week. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to their backups.
You know what Dan Marino didn't do? Lose a game because he couldn't pick up 10 yards.
Right.
You know what I don't think I ever saw Dan Marino do?
What was that?
Attempt to throw the ball away out of bounds and get a pick six.
Oh, yeah. I never saw that in 17 years. Yeah. He's had pick sixes only in the field of play, not while trying to throw it to the sideline out of bounds and intentionally. His intended target was a receiver when he got picked. His pick sixes came off intended target.
Jermaine, tell me what year that was. Go ahead, Mr. Stat. Tell me what year that was. Tell the audience what year it was you're talking about.
don't exist.
Well, if it does, I guarantee you it was 1987 or 88.
During the strike year?
Yeah, and during our soft tank with Marino, just like we're doing now with Tua.
Well, Shula only had 2 losing seasons in his 30-year career. So take that for what it's worth. So it's not much to to go digging through when it comes to losing records in his whole career.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
The winningest coach ever only had 2 losing seasons.
Ooh, the Jacksonville game. Oh, we're gonna bring up the Jacksonville game. Oh, that stung. Give me a break.
There's
You're
no
just
pass
showing.
thrown out
You're
bounds.
just showing who the true fans are by trying to pick on me with Dan Marino. You're just showing your true colors.
Yeah, they are. They're exposed. That's to make themselves feel good about their porcelain doll. It's kind of like you ever saw the new Oz the Great and Powerful, or the little porcelain doll gets cracked in her little whirl, before they go meet, go through the treacherous woods and
Yeah,
evade in the woods.
by the way, it was 1989 crypto when we went 8-8.
Yeah. Did they count that as a losing season for Shula, or is it just one
I
of
don't
those?
know, but he also threw for 4,000 yards in an era where that was actually something.
Yeah, that's like throwing for 5,000 a day. Any 4,000 yard season,
right?
below,
And we're talking about the year before, if not the year that Richmond Webb and Keith Sims were drafted.
Yeah, I think he was drafted. Sims was drafted in 90, 91 season, I think.
Right. You're also talking about an era where nobody threw over 30 touchdowns per season, which is why 48 in 84, 44 in 86, and let's see, there's another 30 burger in 1994. That wasn't happening back then, in case y'all don't know.
Right. That would be the equivalent of a 60 touchdown year in today's game.
Right.
He basically was more than double the league average, or almost triple the league average. People were in the 20s, and that was considered good back in the 80s.
Right. So you had the Super Bowl appearance in 85, right? Anytime you have a Super Bowl appearance, what's gonna happen, crypto? You're gonna lose a lot of players. So the next year we went 8-8, and Marino threw 44 touchdowns.
The very next season, yeah.
That's a Super Bowl slump, ladies and gentlemen. 44 touchdowns the next year.
And we're still talking about the 80s, the ground and pound era. That's insane when you think about the number in that age, in that paradigm.
And then 1987 was a strike year. We went 7-5.
Okay, that's
26 touchdowns in a strike year.
Yeah, well, I think it was like the players only played half the season, or a little less than that.
Yep. 6-10 in 1988. The tank was fully in. He still threw 28 touchdowns.
All right.
Then we drafted Webb and Sims. Then we went 8-8, 12-4, 8-8, 11-5, 4-1. That was his injured year. Then when he came back, 10-6, all playoff appearances, all deep.
We were favored too. We were for the year he went down. We started out pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
That was that we was finally favored to make it to the Super Bowl since the 80s. It's like 10, 11 years us being a favorite going into the season to make the Super Bowl. The 92.
Did you realize that his 17 game average for 17 years was 4,310 yards per season.
That's a hell of longevity for 4,000. Given that half of his, I would say 60% of his playing days was in the era of the running game. He made today's paradigm.
Pretty much.
He transcended.
And these kids are out here doing it. These kids are out here doing it in 17 games now, and they think it's something. Ooh, Tua threw for 4,600 yards in 17 games. All right.
Right. The way Marino was throwing with for 48, 5,000 yards. Oh yeah, he did have a 5,000 yard season in that. That's almost equivalent to close to 7,000 in today's yards.
Right. He had a 12 game season in the strike year, and he threw 3,200 yards.
There's a reason why Joe Montana, who's undefeated in Super Bowls, by the way, the undefeated, not lost the Super Bowl, who sat there in an interview publicly said that Dan Marino is the best quarterback he's ever seen play.
Right. He only played 14 games in 1995. I don't remember why. Maybe because we had something locked up and he didn't have to play. I don't know.
Because what Joe Montana understands being a part of
he threw 3,600 yards in a 14-game season.
Right. And what Joe Montana understood about the quarterback position is not about team accomplishments and winning Super Bowls. It's about how you play the game at the position. That's why he was able to sit there and say Dan Marino is the best quarterback he's seen and ever played the game, while he has more accomplishments in the Super Bowl than Dan Marino did.
Here's the other difference. If Dan Marino was our quarterback right now in his last season of his career, we'd be undefeated and we would have thrown already for 1,500 yards passing.
Right. Yeah, pretty much.
And I stand on my business saying that.
Already 1,500 yards passing.
We'd already had 1,500 yards passing, and we'd be 3-0 right now.
Yep.
And Josh Allen would have got taken to school.
Yeah. It would have been up to our defensive coordinator to make sure we get that ball back. Or it could have been an O'Brien Marino type shootout.
Yeah, that's right, AB. If all of a sudden our QB gets Marino numbers, everyone's happy. That's right. You know why? Because if he was getting Marino numbers, we'd be winning. And he'd look like a star. And guess what? Those Marino numbers today would be 6,000 yards. Easy.
Well, Marino already put it on record that he'll be throwing for 6,000 yards in today's era. He said it out as himself. So
adding the 17th game alone would do that.
Yeah. That 17 game gets him across there. And yet, Peyton Manning threw for
5,000 something. Considering he threw for 5,000 something in a 16-game season. Right. One game more, and you're nearing 6,000. That's without the new paradigm. That's just in his own paradigm.
Yeah,
people are ridiculous, man, and it's personal. They are being personal when they use Marino to take shots at me. So when you talk about the comparing Tua haters to Tua-neers, I don't recall ever being personal except to Tua himself. Yeah, Tua sucks. I'll say it again. Sorry it hurts people's feelings when I say that. I'm not intending to do that.
I think you may have hurt a few people, fragile porcelain dolls out there.
I mean, if you don't believe Tua sucks, cool. But to be then throwing Marino at me and insulting him because you know it, you think it'll get under my skin, that's being personal towards me. So there you go. I mean, that's the difference right there, illustrated for everybody to see on live on YouTube, to see everybody see it play out. All I was doing is criticizing some athlete I've never met, nor will I ever, that makes millions of dollars to do his job.
Mm-hmm.
Now we gotta besmirch Dan Marino's career in order to piss Culler off. Like, grow the fuck up. I got called soft by somebody today. Crypto, you don't see that as soft?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can, Joe, because I'm not being fragile about Marino. Why do you see that as being fragile about Marino?
Black Sheep says saying Tua suck is a condom.
To even bring up Marino is fragile. Like, should I not? Okay, fine. Okay, so what do y'all want to talk about now? How great Tua is? Is that what we should do now? I shouldn't interact with chat anymore because all it does is make me fragile? Get the fuck out of here with that shit, man. I fucking thought better of that. I really thought better of you, bro. Fucking Lewis comes in these fucking panels and all these shows and on Twitter yelling and screaming all day. Ain't nobody calling him fragile. You know why? Because y'all know he'll bust you in the mouth. That's why. Pussies.
No, they get selective in their critique.
Of course they do, because they know Lewis will bust them in the fucking mouth. That's why they act that way. They know Culler won't. And that's not fragile.
I don't think Marino is fragile, Culler.
No, I'm being fragile, is what he's saying.
Oh, well.
By bringing up Dan Marino's stats and debating with the chat, who's bringing up Marino to get at me personally. I'm being fragile.
Well, KP, I think that's a great observation. Tua did say he did look in the mirror and wondered if he can play the game.
You know what? I'm done interacting with chat, man. I really am. Because it don't matter who it is. They're just fucking all idiots. Every fucking one of them.
No, KP brought up an interesting point. How come they're not pointing out Tua's own critique of himself when he looked in the mirror? He said, mirror, mirror on the wall.
I hope all the people that were offended by that stop coming and watching my show.
Who's the fairest of them all?
Wait a minute, Crypto. I hope anybody that was offended by my last statement, I hope you stop watching my show because I don't want you around anymore. I would rather talk to two people every day than listen to that and then watch that bullshit. And then people calling me fragile. Guess what? You win. Go watch somebody else. Go crack another egg.
Damn, so we got Humpty Dumpty, we got Mirror, Mirror. What's the another one? Jack and Jill. Shit. Tua said mirror, mirror, so he used that phrase when he was wondering about his own ability to play the sport.
All right, talk about Marino all you fucking want, AB.
No, red, white bills. You can still come around.
I mean, I would expect that out of haters. But, I don't know. I guess I'm too fragile to be shaking hands with then, Joe, right? Did you realize how fragile a person you were shaking hands with, Joe?
Mm.
Fucking two-faced fucking people, man. And I'm fragile. Wow.
Give me 1 second, Cole. I'll be back.
I stand up for Marino and stand my ground on my opinion about Marino, and I'm fucking fragile. Give me a fucking break. Yeah, I took it personally. That's right, Joe. I took it fucking personally. How about I call you fragile? Oh, I know. You're thick-skinned. I know. I've shaken your hand before. I'm not freaking out either, bro. You thinking I'm freaking out is pretty damn fragile, man. I can't talk football without somebody saying I'm freaking out. I can't stand my ground like everybody. Okay, let's call everybody out when they're freaking out now and call them fragile. And you think I'm not supposed to take that personally? I say all the same shit right there at the tailgate, sitting in a freaking chair that I do right here on this show. And I don't recall you calling me fragile to my face, Joe. Some people function in a weird reality, man. That's all I'm saying. Weird ass reality. Yeah, I'm proving your point. So you'd let it go. Yeah, keep it coming. Keep making it look like me, bro, because I'm the one up here willing to say the fuck something about it. And let nothing go. I'll let it go when you let it go. You're the one that called me fragile for it. Why don't you let it go? It's ridiculous. I'm sorry. I have nothing else to say. The show is going to end now because anything I say is considered fragile. Well, yeah, Joe, you didn't think there was going to be a fucking consequences. You didn't think there was going to be a reaction from a fucking man when you call him fragile? I'm just supposed to take it? See, what happened was you thought you think you're bigger than everybody else, just like everybody else around here. You think you can say whatever the fuck you want to people. Well, you can. You can stir whatever bee's nest you feel comfortable stirring. I'll shut up now. I'll let it go. I didn't freak out about a Marino comment. If you consider that freaking out, then you are the one that's fragile. I think I've given an example of what I look like when I'm actually freaking out. So if you thought that was freaking out, because I'm arguing, debating, or even arguing with chat. Fine. Keep it to yourself. I thought it was too, Carla. But apparently I'm being fragile. No, Black Sheep, they can call me whatever they want to call me because they know I ain't going to bust them in the mouth for it. They know I'm peaceful, regardless of how much I yell and how much I scream and how excited I get. I'm a peaceful person, and they know that. The man is shaking my hand. So if I'm fragile, if you thought I was freaking out because of the Dan Marino comment, I can't have you around me, bro. Don't bother coming to my tailgate. I don't need people like that around me. Oh, too personal? How personal is too personal? Personal is personal, buddy. That's like saying, oh, that's more dangerous than that over there. Danger is danger. I try not to, DP, but I didn't realize that I was shaking the hand of a troll. Yeah, take your dub and move on. Hope you love it. Eat it just like Jameis Winston's fingers. I hope you parade it all around the internet. Tell everybody you got a dub on Culler. Good for you. You're acting just like everybody else, dude. You're exactly how I would expect from a troll. You're the one taking it to a dark place, dude, by calling me fragile.
They always trolling.
Pretty neutral comment. Well, guess what, Joe? You're an idiot. Is that neutral enough for you? Yeah, I know, Andres. That's the reason it's personal. Because this person could have said all that right in front of my face. He had the opportunity. Sorry if it stung a little more when you called me fragile. I would have thought you'd understood how much of a privilege it is to shake somebody's hand, consider them a friend. I'm sorry, bro. I thought you could have said it right then and there, bro. My bad. Yeah, Joe, because guess what, Joe? Yeah, Joe, because I've been saying the same fucking shit for 3 years. So, yes, you've already heard my fragility. Not about this comment, about Dan Marino. Again, sorry for interacting. When somebody brings up Dan Marino, I'll shut up. just so Joe's fragility is not harmed. Just so I don't suffer a personal freaking attack from somebody, I'll make sure that I don't ever argue with Chad again. I'll make sure I don't ever debate anybody again. Oh, I'm chill. It's good. You didn't say a comment about Dan Marino. You said it about me. What don't you understand? You called me fragile for standing up for what I believed about Dan Marino. You called me fragile, bro. Like, how weak is that? Are you trying to like make sure that everybody's ears are okay? That I didn't get too excited about Dan Marino? Who you caping up for? The chat is fragile. I see you arguing with them every day, so obviously you know that the chat is fragile. Are you fragile too? Why didn't you call yourself fragile? Do you look in the mirror every day and go, oh, I argued with chat today. I'm so fragile. Yeah, proving your point. I'm whatever you want me to be, Joe. Take your dub and go run around with it. I hear if you go in the backyard and toss your dub around, it acts like a boomerang. You can keep coming back around over and over again. I'm crying any more than anybody else does on this freaking internet. You smelt it, you dealt it. Hey, remember that old saying? You smelt it, you dealt it. How about you, Crypto? You remember that old saying? Oh, call me old fashioned, I guess. Yeah, Jermaine, I know I get pushed back when I say Tua sucks. They brought up Marino, so I was playing the game. I didn't realize, I wasn't allowed to like call them fragile just because Joe thinks I'm being equally fragile. I'm sorry, I didn't realize. Insult me all you want. Go right ahead. You're just Joe now. Oh, I can take it. I'm taking it very well. Guess what? When I end this show, you're going to be the last person on my mind. I can guarantee you that. All your stupid comments about Dan Marino, last thing on my mind when I end this show. Of course he does. They all do, Cap. They all do. They all think they all gonna claim their dub and go run around with it. I got a dub on Culler. Woohoo! Okay. Start a channel. Tell everybody. I hope the best for you. I'd even come on your show. It wasn't even a bad one. Yeah, in your opinion, you called another man fragile, bro. It don't matter what the fucking context is. And now that man's reacting, you're using that as further evidence that he's fragile. There's a word for that, you know. That's called a struggle session. And I don't play. I don't do struggle sessions. I turn them around. And we're going to have your struggle session until you shut the fuck up. How about that? Is that a good show to have? My apologies to the real listeners that actually wanted to hear my opinion on things. Sorry to you all. I had to deal with an idiot. So let's talk about how we're going to win this game, everybody. Tua going to come off the bench in the fourth quarter, put on his big bubblehead helmet and will us to the victory? Is that what we're going to do this week? Crypto, what do you think?
Yeah, it's the Alabama 2.0. He comes in the fourth quarter, throws one pass for the win. Alabama, Georgia 2.0.
Wow. Wow.
There we go.
It's funny to watch all the same haters all agree that Joe was in the right. It's so funny to watch all the people that shit on Joe every day are all saying he's in the right now. It's so hilarious. It's the internet is so goddamn predictable. It's unbelievable. Look, Joe Wrist, let him live. Oh, y'all are buddies now, huh? Awesome. I'm glad I could bring friendships together.
Man.
So transparent, bro.
What's the saying? Politics make strange bedfellows. Two and near make strange bedfellows.
And that's right. I'm going to act like I didn't get all excited and laugh about it now. That's right, Joe. I already know that's what you're going to say. Keep underestimating my intelligence. Hey, y'all are fully welcome to underestimate my intelligence all you want. That's what I'm here. I'm here to serve. If I have to be your idiot, I'll be your idiot. If I have to be your Socrates, I'll be your Socrates. What I can't be is your quarterback. Unfortunately. And that's something y'all are going to have to deal with. It ain't got nothing to do with me. Y'all are just upset with me because your boy can't stand on his business. That's not my fault.
Someone said 2-9 sucks. Someone said that. 2-9 sucks. Man. You might have to elaborate on that one. 2-9 sucks. Oh. But I shouldn't say that quietly. Can't say that out loud.
Hey, and you know what, Crypto? If all of this is a ruse and Tua really is that guy, and he comes back and we win a Super Bowl, you know what? Still, he's an asshole. How about that? At the very least, for making us, like, yo, you're sitting on the bench. Yo, you've put up 13.6 points per game in your last 7 games, and now all of a sudden you're going to ball out? Bro, that's an asshole at the very least. So even if I'm wrong now, I don't even care. The guy's still an asshole. And so are all his fans. And I'm not talking about Dolphins fans that like Tua. I'm talking about Alabama, Tua near. Tua's the only guy that's ever thrown the football fans. Y'all are assholes. I'm just matching your energy. If I'm fragile, I'm just matching your energy. Y'all tell me the same thing. You get the energy you give, right? I'm only giving you all what you've asked for. I sit here and wave pom-poms and freaking whatever else and be nice to everybody in chat. And I sit here with 50 viewers while y'all go watch fucking Reason. Every time I start saying what needs to be said, my viewership goes up. The crash out CB83, guess what? Unlike you, I'll be doing a show tomorrow morning. You crash out and nobody even knows it. And as Carla pointed out, I've crashed out 10 times. I don't even know if you have 10 shows. Keep it coming. We can do this all day. This is prime time television right here, guys. Y'all think you got me. You don't realize this is prime time right here. This is exactly what everybody wants on the internet and on YouTube. They got TD and they got Reason and they got Dudley Do Wrong and they got all the fine Miami beat writers to tell them all they need to know about their team and the stats and how we're going to win and all that stuff. They got places for that. That's that market's already cornered. My viewership goes up when I tell y'all what's on my mind. That's what I've come to realize over the last 3 years of doing this. Y'all are some sick people. I love every one of you. That's why I do it. Because y'all are some sick people. And you need to be fixed. That's right. That's what I just said. If you don't like it, don't listen. If you think I'm an asshole for saying that, don't listen. If you think I'm being too bold or Dunning-Kruger or whatever you think, don't listen. Got 1,000 other places to get the same information, which is that we suck. They can tell you all about this other stuff we got and we can do it with. They're all telling you we suck in different ways. They're all telling you there ain't no hope unless Tua's playing. So what do you even bother watching for? If that's all you're here for is to see Tua crap out, then why do you bother watching the next 4 weeks? Just go away. We'll talk about it. We'll be wrong. Everybody will laugh at us, and you all can come back when Tua starts playing again. How about that? Go away. Well, that's actually what I'm going for, Carla. Appreciate that. I usually it's nicer when I'm chilling and it's a chill show on Sunday night without Cap and we're just, roasting all the people in media and players and everybody's laughing and having a good time. Yeah, that's usually what I try to do. But apparently that's fragile now. No, well, what I'm saying, G says bad attention is better than no attention. What I'm saying is there is only bad attention on the internet. That's all there is. And it was called Gone in 60 Minutes, ABAB, because that's how long it took for our season to end this week. 60 minutes. And that 60 minutes was played against Jacksonville, in case you didn't notice. That 60th minute expired against Jacksonville. Season over. Isn't that what everybody wanted to hear? Isn't that what everybody wants me to say? Season's over, folks. Pack it up. It's a joke. We all sit around here and freaking wait until our savior comes back from whenever he decides to get over his headache. Hey, look, if you think I'm diminishing concussions, y'all already did that a long time ago by even talking about him coming back. So spare me. Yeah, that's right. Headache. That's what they called it when I got concussed in high school. A headache. Where's my lawsuit? Where's my class action money? Bunch of millionaire children. That's what we have in this league and on this team. A bunch of millionaire children that never grew up. I don't want to play for Skyler. Think I'm stupid. You think I can't see what's right in front of my face? Tanner Connor on a deep post. It's sad enough that the fans think I'm dumb, but this organization that takes money from me thinks I'm dumb. That Mike McDaniel's little nerd ass thinks I'm fucking dumb. That's what the most disappointing thing is. But hey, we've all suffered that disappointment countless number of times in our life. Every time we buy a bad product from somebody, every time we get a cell phone that the screen is cracked after a day, we've all experienced that. It ain't nothing new. But I don't see anybody out there caping up for AT&T. I don't see anybody out there caping up for their favorite wireless provider when their phone call gets dropped. I don't see anybody caping up for McDonald's when they get a shit burger. I do see a bunch of people caping up for a shit government, but that's another story. Don't matter who's running it. We've entered ridiculous territory. I try not to use the word ridiculous because it's a fun word. We have entered true ridiculousness. It's ridiculous. You know where the word ridiculous comes from? The word ridicule, which is what y'all haters do to me, and what every other person that watches NFL that's not a Dolphins fan does to you. Ridicule. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it. Because the ridicule ain't stopping. Not as long as we have a ridiculous coach, a ridiculous general manager, and an absolutely ridiculous owner. It is not going to stop. So have fun for the rest of the season being ridiculed.